Don't take the apple leader and that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Located on the bypass and
Yeah.
Experience the vibe. Experience their spirits at Insurrection.
This is a great town though. Like,
Follow
all
them on
downtown here.
Facebook
We were
for
thinking
special
of it, like,
hours of operation.
yeah, it's really cool.
Where are you located out of?
I'm originally from Leeann, and then moved to Drums. Our project is out of Hazelton. They're from like the Wilkes-Barre area, and then leadership. Yeah. So our program that we're part of that brought us to the project is Leadership Northeast, which like covers anybody that wants to join it from Northeast PA. So it's kind of like a broad scope of what we're doing, but like the project itself is based out of Hazelton.
Okay, so it's like an offshoot of the leadership parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big like charitable arm, I guess, for Leadership Northeast. I don't want to give you all the cheddar now. You need to be surprised.
Well, I mean,
Stop asking questions, okay? Stop prodding.
I'm
You
sorry.
ask him on air. I want to give away all my good stuff.
That's right.
It's gonna sound so repetitive. You're like, yeah, I heard it.
Yeah.
Listen, when we were on TV, he gave away wrong names. So
I did. I called a guy named Nick John.
Oh, sorry.
Facebook because it's all because of the music.
Yeah.
If you want to share with anybody, like you want to share now that people will be watching, you go on to a club, is it just on the podcast or you have to share on Colossal Radio too?
Colossal Community Podcast.
Okay, Colossal Community Podcast, and you can share live link, it will be available later on as well, but I just want to have people watch live kind of.
Oh man, no.
You see us sitting there?
No, don't show. I don't see it. I have a face made for the radio. I'm a little concerned.
That's on right now?
Yes, that's what she just said. It's been on for 2 minutes, so it'd be nice.
We're just straight streaming right now?
On Facebook.
Yeah, we're on Facebook.
I love it.
We got 2 minutes until we're live on the radio.
Go click share.
I don't have my phone. I was just afraid. I put it over there. I just don't want to be at it and stuff, you know?
When do you never have your phone?
At this exact moment in time. I want to be focused. Go be Facebook focused.
I think this is like a first for him.
It is. I actually have a little anxiety about it.
Touch it in your pocket, it's not there.
It's in the room.
In the room, okay.
It's physically in the room.
That's good, so it's close, but just not.
Ringers off.
So he's usually our media person because we all are terrible with like remembering to take pictures of things. John's got some good ones.
Yeah.
No, I avoid the camera.
Yeah, but you're usually behind it, but John's usually the one that's like in everybody's face doing Facebook Live and all that
Yeah.
fun stuff. So like, we just count on him to have it all the
Yeah.
time.
You should have brought a bar of soap and had it here. Our
Alright, we got 20 seconds and then we're live on the radio. And everybody gets quiet.
Yeah.
I just burped while I was trying to blow. I was trying to blow a dog hair off my phone. I burped twice. Excuse me.
I already like the little ad. I already like the little ad.
Okay,
Awesome.
Yeah, great job, Keith.
thank you.
7 it up. On the prime time.
Yeah. Hey, Keith. I appreciate you.
We might need the mics
For what? These are on?
to make it better.
Hey, we can't hear our announcement.
It disappeared.
I take it back. Keith.
Alright,
Really fun.
good evening everybody and welcome to Colossal Community Podcast. My name is Keith, your host, and I'm here with my co-host, SiriusLee Leeann.
Hey.
How's it going, Leeann?
Good, how are you?
Good. We are broadcasting live here in Delaware Avenue in Palmerton Off the Charts Music School. And tonight we are celebrating St. Patrick's Day because it's the only weekend of the year that we all agree that we're all Irish, right?
Amen to that.
So we have tonight the first half hour Pantry Raiders group will be telling us about their group. In the second half hour we have a bagpiper coming in to talk about the difference between Irish and Highland bagpiping and Irish and Highland dancing. So that's what's in store for tonight. But first, Leeann, I learned something new last week.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
So I was listening to the radio and I heard a commercial about Duracell's new battery. Do you know the coin batteries that they have?
Yeah.
They have a new campaign out to help prevent kids from swallowing them, putting them in their mouth. They cover the battery with a non-toxic bitterness flavor, so it helps prevent kids to not swallow them. So there's two things that popped in my mind. First of all, the fact that they specify non-toxic bitterness flavor. You know the battery's toxic, right? The second thing is, me being me, knowing when I was a kid, if somebody said don't put that in your mouth, it's bitter, I'm going to be curious and say, yeah, right, that's not bitter. I'm going to try it. So is it really going to prevent the kids from putting it in their mouth?
Well, that explains a lot. That you were, that you were eating.
Because I was the kid that don't put your tongue on that 9-volt battery because it would shock you. Yeah, I tried that.
Yeah. Well, see, I was a fan of stickers, so anything that had a Mr. Yuck sticker on. I don't even know if they make Mr. Yuck stickers anymore.
I think they do.
Yeah.
I think they do.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was a good kid. I listened to my parents majority of the time.
That's watching, so.
Yeah.
I was a good kid, but I was
He's gonna deny what I
curious. Because I did take the 9-volt battery to school and dare kids to try it.
Did you ever stick your tongue to a frozen bowl?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
Thank God he missed the Icon challenge.
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't coat the pole with non-toxic bitter
Yeah.
taste.
But I that's just curious, like non-toxic flavor, but who cares about the battery that is toxic? You know?
I learned a new joke this past week.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Is it okay if I say something appropriate? A dirty joke?
We encourage it.
Alright, it's a knock-knock joke, so who's gonna go back and forth with me?
Oh, it's me. It's me.
Alright, alright, ready? Knock knock.
Who's there?
Mr. Bush.
Mr. Bush who?
Mr. Bush, so I shot it on her belly.
She set the bar really low.
Yeah, that's okay. Listen, I'm gonna tell you why I appreciate this joke, because now I feel like, okay, that's nothing compared to what I've had. Like, we're in good shape. Like, it's a safe space. We're in a very safe space.
All right, on those two notes, we're going to start the show. Welcome our guests, the Pantry Raiders. Welcome. Please introduce yourselves
I'm Danielle Ems.
Yeah, I'm Sean Daney.
John Jarosky.
and tell us about your group.
So our group, it's kind of a complicated question. You know, we are part of Leadership Northeast, and what an amazing program that is, right? So to kind of give you a little bit of the background, because I think we have a fair amount of time, I think, with you guys. And jump in, by the way, at any given point, guys. But what's so cool about this program is we all show up as perfect strangers, basically, on day one. And like, you never think that you could get so close to people within like a matter of hours. But you know, the way the program is structured, they have these team building exercises that happen like over the course of the first couple days. And like, you create, it becomes a giant group of very close friends in a short amount of time. You know, and there's an education component that's tied to Leadership Northeast, and we're ultimately split into teams to take on a community need. And that's really how, you know, the Pantry Raiders was formed. That's really how the team came
Oh, I
together.
missed the team building piece. My wife went into labor. So.
Yeah, he missed that. He was building a whole other team.
Yeah, a different team.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's really.
Yeah, it's an awesome program, Leadership Northeast. I mean, they basically, if not you, then who? I mean, we're trying to live our communities better than when we started. So, I mean, we're really learning to find these change drivers in our communities, different nonprofits that really just can't sustain without folks like us to help them. So, definitely eye-opening.
Yeah. So I admittedly, and I told you guys this earlier, up until about 2 hours ago, I don't know how I missed the R, but I was reading your names as Panty Raiders.
It's provocative.
Yeah,
People know.
that's right. I mean, it intrigued me. I needed to know what you guys did.
Well, and that was
Go ahead,
actually
Danielle.
the
Take this
reason
one.
we picked the name. So our project is a project that's surrounded in stigma and a topic that people don't want to talk about. So we're creating a personal hygiene pantry for maternal and family health services. So when you think of people in need, like everybody always jumps to clothing, shelter, food. But once you get those needs met, then what's next? Like, we forget about basic hygiene and basic needs on the woman's behalf, and even on, you know, single dads that have these daughters that may not necessarily know where to go or what to do. So we wanted to kind of like ease up the topic a little bit, and so we're building a pantry, and we're talking about feminine care, so why not go with the Pantry Raiders, which makes people chuckle a little bit, but then it opens up a line of communication that, you know, might not have been opened up before, because if you come in with like some serious name, people are gonna be like, oh, I don't wanna talk about that, you know? But when you make it a little like levity to it, people are more apt to open up, relax, and then be like, okay, so it's a serious topic, it's something that we don't normally discuss, but tell me what you're doing. And then that way we can open it up a little bit. So we wanted to bring a little bit of humor and levity to a serious issue that nobody talks about. So that's how Pantry Raiders came up. And every time somebody makes that mistake, we're like all for it, because I'm like, hey, let us tell you about us. You know, so we bring it back to the project, which is pretty awesome.
That's smart. It's very funny.
We honestly would love to take credit, and I'm going to use this as a redemption opportunity, because, you know, we've been out really talking about this project now for like months, right, and promoting it, raising funds in support of maternal and family health services. And we were on another show, and we can't take credit for the name. So the name, we were really kicking around names. And it's a really hard project to come up with a name for it, you know what I mean? When you think about what our subject material is, it's like, how do you make it fun? You know, we were like having a really hard time with that, and we have an amazing team mentor in Jillian Marinelli, and it was her husband, Nick, who actually came up with the name, and I couldn't call his name. I had never, in my defense, I had never met Nick, right? So for some reason, John was in my mind, and so I credited a gentleman by the name of John incorrectly on TV, which in the end will make for a funny story for them, probably for a while. But this is an opportunity to say that the name credit goes to Nick. I appreciate you, Nick.
Yes.
So how can people get in touch with you about using the pantry?
Well, so first off, like the pantry is going to be taken over by Maternal and Family Health Services. What we're doing is getting them started. So what our task was to help them raise funds, raise product, and get the pantry started so that they can then kick it off and keep it going. The great thing is, if this one is a success in Hazleton, they're going to spread it to all of their other locations throughout the Northeast, which is great. But now, right, what we're trying to do is we want to provide them with as much support and as much stuff as we possibly can to get them launched out. So we had a gracious, anonymous donation of almost $5,000 worth of product to the pantry. So now what we're working on doing is our St. Pantry's Day fundraiser, which is we're doing raffle tickets for a pot of cheer, which includes, I want to say it's 18 bottles of wine and alcohol, along with a 4-pack from Breaker Brewing, a gift card for Breaker Brewing, a glass set, a decanter. That's the right word for that.
Yeah, yep.
So it's this huge basket worth quite a bit of money that we're going to raffle off, and then we added some additional prizes to that. So if you're into the craft beer scene, we have 2 tickets to the Tap New York Craft Beer and Musical Festival. Not only are they the tickets to the festival, but it's also including your transportation donated by Mark's Bus, so you don't have to worry about, you know, while you're there drinking too much or sampling too much. You can have your ride to and ride home covered. So that's one of the raffle prizes, along with a cash prize and another Breaker Brewing gift card. So really, what we're looking for people to do at the moment is either contribute to our Amazon wish list. You go onto the gift registry and search Pantry Raiders L&E, it'll come up, or purchase a raffle ticket that you can purchase right from our Facebook page, again, Pantry Raiders L&E, and you can just purchase a raffle ticket from there. You no need to be present to win. If you show up and support us at Breaker Brewing on the 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day, so who doesn't want some bagpipes and some, you know, beer going on St. Patrick's Day? There may or may not be an extra door prize that we're going to be raffling off, which is kind of awesome. So there's multiple ways that you can get involved. Everything is linked on our Facebook page. There's some information about us as team members on there. There's also information about maternal and family health services. So not only if you want to donate, but if you are in need of services, that's all linked on there as well. So that's pretty much what we're really pushing at. And if you don't wanna donate to us, you can donate to them directly, so if you have somebody that, has lots of spare cash that they can throw product at them, that's awesome, they're gonna accept it, so, but we're trying to, right at this moment, we're trying to make our St. Pantry's Day fundraiser like a huge success, so that we can give them as much product as humanly possible to get them started.
Right. So, a lot of things going on here.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God,
It's time for a knock.
we certainly did a lot of stuff there.
I don't know if you could tell, but my face felt like the mind-blowing emoji.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
my brain was shooting out. I was like, wow, I'm trying to absorb all this.
I felt it.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. It's good. So just to clarify, so your group is like not, it's part of a bigger umbrella group, right?
Yep.
So once, like, say your project is complete as far as, they adopt the pantry, spread it around, all the goodness, what then becomes of you? Do you move to a different project? Do you keep your project and move to a different area? Like, how does that work?
Sure. So we all are employed at various, she's with Mark's Bus and he's with Geisinger and I'm with Benchmark Mortgage. So we all have our independent careers and things that we do for a living. Leadership Northeast is more of an organization. I look at it basically almost like a school, like a semester of school for professionals. You go in for a period of time, like a semester. We're the fall class. And we meet once a month and we spend an entire day and it's been a wonderful experience. And again, in addition to just meeting amazing people, there's this wonderful education component. But what's so special about Leadership Northeast, and I think I alluded to it a little bit earlier, is there's this amazing community betterment arm of it where, they've established themselves because, the class breaks into groups and those groups tackle community needs. Right, so now they've created a platform where organizations like Maternal and Family Health Services, and this is an exact example for us, they reached out to Leadership Northeast and said, hey, we can use help. We know your class does this. We have a need. We would love help doing it. So we, as a group, we're trying to decide what this project is, because as groups, you decide what what community needs you're going to tackle. The fact that Maternal and Family Health reached out to leadership and said, we need a hand, we felt like, look, if they're reaching out, we need to reach back, and that's how we landed there. So hopefully that answers your question.
It does. So that means when your class is done, a new class will come in and they'll start new projects.
That's exactly right.
So basically, if there's people out there that want to become part of the next class, they can look into that.
Leadership Northeast is on their webpage. They have a website and they also have a Facebook page that's really user friendly. It shows I'm gonna misspeak, but I think there's 6 different types of classes that you can go into. So if you're going into your junior year in high school, you can go and be part of the junior program, which is very similar. It's just geared more towards high school kids. They go out still and do their community outreach program. There's Impact, which is the women's leadership group. There's the executive leadership group. There's several groups that you can be a part of depending upon where you are in your career or where you want to progress to. So it's a complete outreach. We have 6 teams in our class this year. So each team has about 8 to 9 people as part of it. So currently, this class is doing 6 community outreach programs. So we're touching 6 different nonprofit groups. And the nice part is, you can come in with an idea. If you have something that, the Veterans Hospital or somebody is coming to you and saying, hey, I have a project, and you come in with that, you don't have to pick something that they have. But our group concept was, if they're taking the time to reach out and say, hey, we have this need, we've already vetted it, we know what we want. If they're reaching out with that need, then who are we to say no? We want it to be a part of that. We want it to reach back out and say, this worked. And that's really how we selected as a group what we were going to do. And then the other component was that it is such a taboo type of subject to talk about that we wanted to own it and we wanted to take it, and because we wanted somebody to help them. And it's kind of one of those things that unless you can make some sort of light of it, a lot of people won't go in that direction.
Well, it seems like you guys have the right personalities to tackle that kind of subject.
Yeah, we've
I want to talk about
actually.
menstrual cups if you can.
Yeah.
I've been saying, like, I want to have a conversation about it. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what they are.
Well, I was just gonna say,
Like
so,
I said,
you know what, honestly, you guys should make a group like Saul and Peppa did with
Yeah.
Let's Talk About Sex.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's talk about
That's our jam.
We're going down that hole.
I'm ready. I feel like we have all the equipment we need. We can do it right now.
Yeah, there you
Since
go.
you brought it up, since you brought it up, you can tell them what's on Amazon.
No,
And
so
then you can
no,
discuss
well,
it.
so again, like she mentioned the Amazon wish list, but we just had a conversation, and I think the last time that we had a meeting as a team, and it just happened to come up. They're like, man, like nobody's buying these menstrual cups. Like we have other things that are being donated, and I'm like, we gotta get this, we gotta get the word out, you know? Like people, we need these
Yeah,
things.
right.
So anybody that's watching this, listen, you go to our Facebook page, in the corner button, the action button on our Facebook page, you know, there is a shop now, which links directly to our Amazon wish list.
Okay.
And I want you to scroll down there, and I want to see menstrual cups coming in. That's what we gotta have these things. Like, I feel like we can make this audience can make that happen for us.
Absolutely.
Right,
You know?
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
want to see it happen.
I know. I don't know why people don't want to talk about it. I mean, and honestly, sometimes the whole they don't want to talk about it comes into like our favor. You know, like I'm sure you've been like, oh, you know, I want to go home from work, so you just go to your boss and be like, I want to go home. I got my period, and they're like, all right, get out of here. So, you know.
All right.
Well, and like I said, that's really where it's funny because there's 9 of us on our team.
And 2 men.
Yeah. Right.
You're there.
Look, they're here, they're
And we're in
talking.
touch. We're in touch. Like we're in touch. You know.
Well, I had somebody just tell me, it was just the other week, that anything that bleeds for a week and lives
Yeah. I've
is
heard that.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
should.
I've heard that.
And
I've
like,
heard that.
here we are, we're alive, and I think we're superheroes, to be honest with you.
We're superheroes.
That's our superpowers, we can bleed forever, and
My superpower is
Yeah.
sorting adult diapers and tampons into shape and absorbency.
scent and size.
Oh, I missed that part. So
Wow.
Well, the containers weren't open, that's why you missed the whole scent thing.
There you go.
So we set up a whole back room for them too, so they had some extra space that we were able to store stuff. So our ultimate goal was just to make sure that there's no walking room in there. But unfortunately, John had the pleasure of working with one of our like OCD members of our team.
Oh, yeah, this is a state trooper. I'm not getting pulled up.
So they're organizing things by whatever. Meanwhile, us up front, when we're stocking the actual cabinets that they're pulling from, we're just like, let's get as much in here as we can, and we don't need to know anything else about any of it. We'll just get it in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but you know, it's the feminine hygiene, but then I want to also bring into the fact that it's also products for kids.
Mhm.
So, like we had some people donate bubble bath. And the nurses at the facility were ecstatic because they're like, oh, it's something that we can give to the kids. And like we had Banco Dental donated some toothpaste and toothbrushes, and they not only did they do the adult sizes, but they did the kid sizes as well, and you know, bubble gum type and that kind of stuff. And they were super excited because then it leads them to be able to give to the kids as well, so that we make sure that we're covering all bases. So the people that are coming into their facility already have a need. So they're trying to make it as comfortable as possible and making sure that they can fulfill as much of those needs that they might not be getting elsewhere in one-stop shopping. They actually work in conjunction with the WIC office as well, so they just want to make sure that they can do as much as they possibly can. So when we saw how excited they got over the bubble bath, we were like, okay, well, let's add that to our wish list. Let's add it so if somebody doesn't want to buy tampons or pads, they can always throw in like 5 things of bubble bath, and hey, you're still contributing to the cause. And it's, giving back to the community, and it's giving back to the area, like that's something that is really needed, you know?
All right, we're going to go to a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Yeah, I love it. But we're still rolling live on Facebook.
Yes, we are, yeah.
All right, see? Everybody mind your P's and Q's.
Yeah, so
That's out the door anyway. We started out with the joke.
Used to love the bubble bath foam spray because they could what's that stuff that they could spray
Sign their client reviews about
But you sound so much fun with that.
All right, Leanne, your dad said jokes went too fast, didn't hear the punchline, always
back in 2000.
Tell him I will tell him later.
You just have to one up it, we need one more before we're done.
Yeah.
Your fur baby is unmatched, and you can see it in what
We're doing good.
Stacy.
How are we on time? How are we doing?
Your fur member of the family. Activity clips. Special
I think that-
recap.
I couldn't really, I don't think the one that I could do that would one up that, they would understand on the radio. Because it involves more sounds than words. Like, so you wanna hear it?
Yeah, I wanna hear it.
Alright, what did Cinderella say when she got to the ball?
Two causes Dr. Overdose for are the
Boy.
as well as the perfect opportunity.
Not competing with that.
No.
I don't feel bad that you brought up tennis.
No, I mean, it's right
When
in
it's
there.
just her, she's a little
They've
quiet.
become a solid member of the community in the past 5 years. They take pride in the quality, freshness, and variety of their food. They're known for their warm
Is this
customer
microphone on or
service
no?
and friendly staff, lunch specials, and fun foods. It's Cindy's Deli.
Well, no, on Facebook, because I'm just listening during the commercials. It's just the Leanne's a little quieter when she talks.
Is it this?
Is that what she uses?
Cindy's Deli.
Or is that on the,
Franklin Township.
Is that quiet on the
Also
radio
provides
or
full service catering.
I'm listening to Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's the radio.
So they can hear me well enough.
Specials to catering.
Yeah, yeah.
Cindy's Deli in Franklin
You're fine.
Township. Find them online at cindysdeli.com. Make sure to give them a like. She's been involved in real estate since 2007. Here's what just some of her clients are saying. Stands out from the
Remind them about the event.
That's Kristen Owen, owner and operator of Iron Valley Real Estate Northeast in Colleton. Kristen and her team with Iron Valley Real Estate will help you navigate the home buying or selling process. Let's face it, it can be stressful. But Iron Valley Real Estate Northeast.
Yeah, yeah.
will help you
Roll
every
up
step
the
of the
metro.
way.
I think
Help
they're
you
10 seconds or back on the radio.
Help you with Iron Valley, Concord, Monroe, and Schuylkill County areas. It's Iron Valley Real Estate Northeast in Palmerton. Check out their listings at ironvalleyrealestatenortheast.com.
All right, welcome back to Colossus Community Podcast. Leanne and I are talking with the Pantry Raiders, and man, they got a lot of things going on here. It's hard to keep up.
Re-listen over and over and over again.
Yeah, yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go,
sure.
get all the information.
Is there anything you guys want to recap really quick? Any events coming up you want to recap?
Oh, you're great with the events.
Okay, so our major event is March 17th at Breaker Brewing Company in Wilkes-Barre Township. We are going to be there live from 5 to 8. We're going to be having a raffle tickets. They already have bagpipers and stuff there, so, come get a drink, listen to bagpipers, buy some tickets. I'm sure there's going to be some antics with these guys going on there. I believe there may be a couple involved there. I'm not sure about that. So that's.
One of you are gonna be wearing a kilt?
It's possible.
No, we're not. It's possible.
It's
So
not
what are you
necessarily
wearing?
unanimous,
What are you not
unanimous
wearing?
to wear. Well,
I instructed them he must wear something under it.
they're giving me strict guidelines.
Versus strict guidelines.
Yeah, right? They're giving me very, very strict guidelines if I choose to wear kilt. But, I mean, I have sexy legs, and I want to put them out there.
Alright.
I've got stems, and I'm not afraid to So I don't know, we'll see. But no, we're excited about the event. And one thing too, and I think you probably said it, but just to be really clear about it, is those tickets for that raffle, you don't have to be there live. You can buy them right now on the Facebook page. Literally, our Facebook cover photo is instructions on how to do it. So if people go to our Facebook page at Pantry Raiders LNE, they can go to our cover photo, they can buy those tickets. They don't even have to be there. We'll have that information for them. If they're not at the event, we're gonna get whatever they win to them. But the key is, that the people really come out and support it one way or another.
And every dollar goes directly to maternal health, family health services for their pantry, so every dollar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing, I guess, too. She mentioned Banco Dental. We did have one of our early sponsors, was an old client of mine many years ago, but they were gracious enough to make a huge product donation. They wanted to remain anonymous, but I try to thank them as anonymously as possible every time that I can. But again, local organizations that have helped get involved, Benchmark Mortgage, Mark's Bus, McCarthy Tire, who else? Banco Dental, anybody else, John? Intermetro was wonderful. Intermetro donated all of the shelving that John busted his ass putting together and organizing that closet for us, just a couple of weeks ago. But, they did an amazing job. We sent them measurements. They, put the whole design together, donated all the material for us. Like, it's really nice to see not only people in the community, but organizations within the community that really get out and they're like, look at, menstrual cups are needed, we're gonna get behind that.
McCarthy Tire.
Oh, McCarthy Tire, yeah, if I didn't mention McCarthy Tire also, yeah. So it's been really great experience. And everybody on our team that can't be here. Like, we have an amazing team, and I think we were really fortunate to have that, because you don't know what you're gonna get. But I will tell you, the whole class is amazing, we couldn't have really gone wrong. But
Best
those,
class?
it is the best class, other people say it. It is the best class, but in truth, the people on our team that can't be here, they're a big part of the team. We miss it tonight.
If anybody's interested, Leadership Northeast on Facebook, you can see all of their classes.
Yeah,
If
for
we
sure.
get in touch with you again.
Yeah, the easiest way I think is through Facebook. That's the easiest way to connect with us. Pantry Raiders LNE. That's PANTRY. Pantry Raiders LNE on Facebook. They can support us that way. Like I said, Amazon wish list is there. They can buy tickets for the raffle that's there. They can check out the posts, and we try to share posts from the other teams, and we would encourage people to do that. There are 6 other teams that are doing amazing work in the community. Support all those teams as best as you can. We'd all be very grateful.
We're pretty great at replying to messages, so if you have any questions or anything else in there, just send a message to that.
Yeah, it's
And side note, if you do go on Facebook and type in Pantry Raiders,
yeah,
you
not
will,
us.
you will find some interesting things.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll bet.
We take no responsibility for
Because I
that.
did that, and I was like, this can't be right.
Yeah. Right. It's
Well,
not right.
That's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
And they still
Yeah.
had us on their show, even thinking.
That's
we're
right.
being
Honestly, you're a little disappointed.
Yeah.
You are a
Up
little
until
disappointed.
2 hours,
She's
I
like,
was
this is
actually
not-
like,
this
this
isn't
is
the
gonna be a
Facebook
really
page.
fun show. And then when I saw who you really are, I was like, I don't know.
Ah, crap.
Oh, man. Tampons?
There goes all my questions.
What is this?
It's like-
No, it's really good. We appreciate you guys. We really appreciate you
Thank
guys.
you guys for coming. Great to hear about groups like this, and wish you guys success. Before we let you go, it is St. Patrick's Day week. Let's hear your best Irish accent.
I'm out on this.
Oh man, I don't even want to try this. This could get me in trouble. John, this is you, buddy. You got this. This is your time to
I'm
shine.
gonna sound Australian.
That's okay. You've been Australian.
I don't know.
It was great. Look at that. Perfect.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
That, by the way, is the get the hell out.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys very
And
much.
feel free to
Great to
contact
see you
us
guys.
as you leave. Thank you, you're welcome.
Thank you. All right, up next, we're going to have Beth on here talking about bagpiping, Irish Highland dancing, and Irish bagpiping.
I'm ready. Is she gonna bagpipe in here?
Yeah, she's gonna bagpipe in.
Oh boy, I don't think I have my hearing protection.
I don't know how loud it's gonna be.
I think it's gonna be pretty loud. I don't know that they can really control that.
Sorry. See that on Facebook. Big news saying that there is an echo. Hopefully we fix the audio. We're trying to go drag out tonight, so.
You're good,
thank
yep.
you for your input.
You can go up and sit down, you're fine.
Hello, hello.
That's not a pipe, Leanne.
No, we can't smoke out of that one?
Yeah.
No, or pour shots in it. People try that all the time.
Oh.
What happens if I pour my whiskey? Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Let's try it.
So welcome to the podcast. If you want
Thank
to
you.
just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Do I need to speak into this thing?
Yes.
I should move it or move myself.
You don't have to be like right into it, but yeah.
How's that? Well, hello. My name is Beth and I'm a piper, among other things, and I live here in Palmerton. What would you like to know?
What do you wanna know?
I'll tell you anything.
Well, how did you get into bagpiping?
Well, I went to Liberty High School, and 100 years ago, and my brother and I both plays. My older brother Paul plays, and he was in the band. And back when I was in the band, it hadn't been all male it had been all male for many years, but I wasn't the first girl. But they got all the girls to quit, and then I was the first female pipe major in high school in 1990, which dates me. And then I played for a while, and then I actually retired for 20 years as I was raising my boys, and I just got back into it over the pandemic because my brother was like, dude, you should play again. I'm like, dude, I'm not 19 anymore. I don't know if I can play anymore. So and I lived in New Jersey before moving to Palmerton, and my pipes had gone through Hurricane Sandy, and they actually got all moldy and nasty. So my brother said, buy me a bottle of Everclear and some brushes, and I'll see what I can do. And so he restored them, and then I said, oh crap, now I have to play them. So I'll try it out. I said, if I can play one tune, I'll play again, but if I can't, I'm gonna donate these pipes to a kid at Liberty. And I played Amazing Grace. So, and that was in 2020, and I've now play in 2 bands, and I play professionally again, and I'm gearing up to compete in the competition season this year.
So are you saying that Liberty will teach you how to play bagpipe at school?
They will, they do. They recruit out of the 8th grade at the 4, I think there's still 4 middle schools. And then the kids in the high school teach the kids coming in from the middle school.
That's awesome.
And
I
then
did
have
not
a
know
teacher
that.
too. Yeah, it's cool. They've been, the other piper that I was gonna bring, there's 2 pipers in Palmerton. There's actually 3 up here. There's another one that lives across the bridge too. We all went to Liberty. We all learned at Liberty. I ended up getting another tutor, Scott Walker, because we're a whole Scottish family of people wanting to do this stuff. So, it's kind of a tradition now in our family, but back then, it was a great opportunity for kids. The band was fashioned after the Coldstream Guards, and the band director was really into that. So, how funny that 3 of us would end up here to Palmerton, literally 2 blocks away from each other. It would be funny because when I first moved here, people would say, when I first started playing again in 2020, people would say, oh, here's bagpipes. I'm like, that couldn't be me because I wasn't playing. And it turned out we were not only 2 blocks away from each other, but we were in the same band. But he had stepped away for a little bit because of work. So I had joined the band he was in, but I didn't know him and he didn't know me. And he would play on Sundays, and I was never home on a Sunday. And then we finally got together. And so now we play together on Sundays. Oh, wow. And the 3 of us we're calling ourselves the Palmerton Pipe Corps because we are all here. Cool. So, but I do a lot of veterans events, Girl Scout events, things like that. Veteran events and things like that I don't charge for EMS because I volunteer for Red Cross.
So, question for you on that front. I do know that bagpipes are just traditionally part of services for veterans or first responders. Why is that? Like, why do bagpipes?
That's such a good question because it doesn't seem like it would actually it doesn't make sense, right? It actually started in New York City because the police departments there, a lot of those folks are Irish that had come over historically, and they played the pipes. There are Irish pipes, which are different than the Highland pipes, which is what these are. But there'd be a few guys that would play, and they would play at funerals, and then they would play in parades when they would have like the fire truck go through. And then it got to the point where, they were teaching each other, and so now each, division of the police department, they have, the parade we did in Scranton, there was New York City Police, there was Port Authority pipes and drums.
Wow.
I did a funeral for a gentleman who I worked with at Northampton that had died in a fire. And when a firefighter dies, they mobilize this national effort. And firefighter pipers came from all over the country to play at his service and in Tripoli. It was incredible. It was the most incredible thing I'd ever participated in. It was so moving to have all these pipers come together. It's such good people.
My brother was a firefighter and an EMT, and he passed away, and there was a piper at his service. So.
And it's a long-standing tradition, and it's a beautiful one.
It is. And there's just something about those pipes that make you feel things.
Right.
I don't even know why. I guess it's because of the stigma of what they're attached to, I'm sure. But I mean, I don't know anybody that can really sit and listen to Amazing Grace on a pipe and not tear up.
Right.
That's our #1 requested song.
Yeah.
It's Amazing Grace. And it's interesting, Amazing Grace wasn't written for the bagpipes. A lot of pipe tunes are popular. Don't Stop Believing. That's a pipe tune rewritten by the Red Hot Chili Pipers, who are a fun band. A lot of pipe tunes were popular tunes back in the day and converted. So there are things we can't play on bagpipes. I can't play the national anthem because I only have 9 notes. And then the embellishments, which we also call grace notes. So to play something like Pop pocket belt cannon, you need like 8 different pipers playing 4 different parts. So it's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So fun stuff. Amazing Grace is our #1 requested song, and then Scotland Brave is our second one. That's the one that you always hear like the march. But a lot of pipe bands don't play it during the month of March because out of respect for the Irish, because it is a Scottish tune. And they are separate countries, separated by large body of water.
Yes. Very large.
Very large body of water.
Is it true that pipes, whether they be Irish or Highland, are actually never truly in tune?
Well, mine probably aren't. You tune, now they have, so when I retired from bagpiping, they had bagpipes hadn't changed for thousands of years. I retired, and over the 20 years I was out, they invented all of this stuff, like with apps and all these things, all these new reeds. You get in tune with your pipe major if you're in a band. And like today I tuned to myself, so I tuned with my own tuner to a standard tune set. But the weather, everything affects them. If I bump the chanter, if I bump the drones, I can throw them out of tune. So, and then if I tune in here, then I go play over at the memorial, they will go completely out of tune before I get across the street just because of the weather.
Wow.
Wow.
So you do your best. So in parades, like the 2 parades we did this weekend were super cold. So, you tune up and you're out of tune within 10 minutes because the drones are like, I don't want to play that. And the dude's like, I don't want to do that either. So they go out of tune.
Very cool.
But as long as you go out of tune together, it's kind of like, like dancing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody knows you're wrong if everybody's doing the same thing.
That's right. I always say that you can't mess up Amazing Grace and you can't mess up Scotland the Brave. Any other tune, if you miss a note, nobody in the world except other pipers will know that. But,
Right.
if you mess up those guys, people will know.
So is it hard to play if somebody wants to thinking about playing? What advice would you give them?
I don't think they're hard to play. I learned young, so I was 9 years old when I started. I actually started as a Highland dancer. My brother played the pipes and I was a dancer. And then he got busy in high school and then nobody could play for us, so I thought I could dance and play the pipes at the same time, like Lindsay Sterling and her violin. Doesn't work. And I fell in love with pipes. So if you learn the traditional way, which is the way that my mom had us learn, which is not the Liberty way, you play on a practice chanter for a year, which is just this part with a blowpipe, and you learn all your fingering, and then you go on the pipes, but you don't have the drones. They stop them up with corks, and that's called a goose. And then you play on the goose for a little bit, and then they add in each of the drones. And so it takes a good 2 years. You can do it a lot faster. Now there's YouTube and things like that, lots of great web channels that you can follow. But I recommend taking your time to learn them, because once you start learning tunes, if you learn them wrong, it's impossible to correct them.
Right.
I think that's probably true in any instrument, but pipes.
Now, they look like they take a lot of air.
They don't, really. This is just a reservoir of air. So once you get it filled, it's full. And then you're just breathing into it. So if you can breathe, you can do it. You can try them if you'd like. I'm happy to let you try them.
I wouldn't do that to the people on the radio.
So, I live right here, and I let the hikers in the Appalachian Trail stop, and I play every day at 5 on Lehigh Avenue. If you're ever bored in the summer, that's where I am on my porch. You can hear me, so you'll find my house, and the hikers all like to try it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's like, so what do you do? You just blow
You just
into it?
you blow into here, and you put them on your shoulder. This is probably the hardest part, is holding them. And then you blow into here, and that fills this up. And you have to fill it up enough so that these kick in. So like if I just blow,
Oh,
that
so then
noise.
you know that it's full.
but that's out of tune, so you have to really blow them up so this is solid, full of air.
Okay.
And then these will kick in. And then you can just have them play, but you have to blow a little bit harder to get this reed to play.
Okay.
So,
Can I try it?
absolutely. Absolutely. Come on over. All right. So, is that the camera? You want to face the camera?
Yeah, sure.
All right. You want to put your arms out like this? Show that way. All right. I'm gonna put these on your shoulder.
Okay.
All right. You're gonna put your hand underneath like that. All right. And what we're gonna do is you're gonna blow.
Okay.
Blow, blow, blow. I'm gonna just play the chanter for you. So keep blowing.
To take a lot of air.
That's what the hikers say too. and blow. So you're ready. She's ready for lessons?
Yeah, she is, yeah.
Just come down to the house. That's funny. That's good. You did great.
Thanks.
So-
So can you teach? Like, would you
Yes.
teach someone?
Yep, I teach someone. I don't do advanced lessons. I do beginners.
Mhm.
And then I still take lessons because I'm a competition piper. So I'm going into competition for my first time. So I still take lessons. I take lessons once a week with a regular instructor named Matt Willis. He's online. He's out of Texas. And then I take once a month group lessons with the championship piper whenever he offers them. Because you have to constantly learn. A lot of pipers, once they learn how to play, they don't take lessons anymore. Kind of like I think guitarists maybe do that too. They're like, I don't know how to play a tune. But I've been retired for a long time, and I had a lot of bad habits before I retired. So I'm working on those.
Nice.
So what is the difference between the Highland pipes and like an Irish pipe?
So the Irish pipes are played. You don't blow into them. They have a bellow, and then you use like this chin, or you sit down and play for one, and then this goes on a like a table or on the floor, and then you have these bellows, and that puts the air in, and then the fingering is very similar, and they have a different sound. Bagpipes, interesting fun fact, are the only musical instrument that have been banned as an instrument of war. So, and they've been banned twice. Queen Victoria was the final person to let them fly free because they would lead into battle with them.
Yeah.
Right? So they considered them an instrument of war and banned them twice. So they have a more mellow sound, where these are a little bit sharper and a little more terrifying. I mean, imagine 3,000 pipers coming at you,
Yeah.
and then horses and armor and.
So anytime you see someone in a parade or at a service and they're walking with them or standing with them, they're Highland pipes.
These are Highland pipes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can tell like the Irish pipes are softer sounding. There are also what we call fireside pipes, which are like this but a lot smaller, and they're meant to play in the house. So like when I play in the house, I have to warn my neighbors that I'm going to play in the house. And my cats all go shooting off in a million directions. When my brother and I were learning, my brother learned first, and he would play every day at whatever time, 4 o'clock. We lived across from a little store, and this old English woman went up and she said, "Peggy, I think I'm dying. Every day at 4 o'clock, I hear Amazing Grace." She's like, no, Peggy, that's Polly Ritter. He's learning the bagpipes over there. So we were so nerdy, we used to play parade. So his best friend was a drum major at Liberty, and so he would play, and then when I started to play, I would play, and then all the little kids would have their little Tex drums, and we would march up and down, and there was this one girl who was a majorette, she would come twirl her baton, and we would walk up and down the street.
Oh, fun. But it was like almost like a legit parade though.
It was a legit parade. I mean, imagine being my neighbor here in Palmerton. I have pipers half the year, I've got bagpipes,
Yeah.
so yeah.
All right, we have 2 questions here. One is, what is the average cost of bagpipes?
So it depends. It's just like a car. You can get used ones, you can get brand new ones, and they're all different kinds of mounts and things, furls and things, that are engraved. The old pipes have ivory on them, so those are very costly. But if you want to get started, I would say probably about $1,500 will get you a good, decent set. Be very careful of Amazon. They sell a $99 set, but they aren't good and they can't be tuned with. I've not seen them be able to tune with the band. But they're good to start with if you have nothing else and you want to try it. Get a practice trainer first. Those are $45. You'll know if you really want to commit to it, because it is a long process to learn.
And the second question is, do you have to replace the reeds?
You do. So I'll pull them out. This might put me out of the tune, but I'll tune for you so you can see what that's like. So this is the reed, and you can see that it gets moisture in it. And because I've been playing so much this month, you play and moisture builds up, and I kill it with Everclear. I mean, I don't drink Everclear, but I use it for piping a lot. They do get moldy over time, especially, and you actually don't keep this in your bag. You also, this is something that I've been about. I retired. I unzip my bag at night so the moisture comes out. They used to be all leather, and you couldn't do that, and you'd have to use this cookie stuff to seal them so that the bag wouldn't crack. So this is the channel reed, and then this is a bass drum, and these are tenor drums, and they have they used to be cane wreaths, and you would use your hair to keep them in tune. Like they were, and because I have curly hair, so my hair always worked the best to keep the wreaths open. But now they have synthetic wreaths. See that? Good questions.
So Leanne, are you gonna buy a bagpipe now in practice?
I mean, that was fun. The 2 seconds that I did it,
Yeah.
it was kind of.
It is so rewarding. Listen, when you're mad or if you're frustrated, the one thing that people can't do when you're playing pipes is talk to you. You want to get away from humans. It is the way. This is the way, as the Mandalorian says.
I saw a Celtic band at Christmas with the Celts. I think.
Oh, yeah.
They were down in at Lehigh University, and the guy that was there, he played. I think he was Irish. I'm actually not so sure he's Irish, but he played. They called him eel pipe.
Those are the Irish pipes, the Julian pipes.
Okay, so that's what you mean. You're referring to when you say the Irish pipes.
The Irish pipes, yeah. Those are Julian pipes. They're beautiful. They have a beautiful, much more mellow sound, much more designed for inside.
Yeah.
And these are designed to scare the crap out of people.
Yeah, well, that's the Scots for you.
That's us, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And we call this the high holy month of bagpiping. Because
Yeah.
pretty much every weekend I've been in parades, and this week I have something every single day.
Now, going back to what you said earlier, didn't you say that in the month of March, they don't play the Highland pipes?
They don't play a tune called, some bands don't play a tune called Scotland the Brave.
Okay,
Because, just out of respect for the Irish, because they have their own tunes.
Right.
Minster Boy is a very popular one, and I'll play that one. It's actually, Minster Boy itself is a very sad song. It's about a soldier who dies in war, but it's a very popular tune because a lot of Irish music from hundreds of years ago was about people who died in war and people who didn't come back. And even now, some of the music is, all of our music is that way. And like the Red Hot Chili Peppers is the best example of taking modern music like Journey and things like that, AC/DC, things like that,
Right.
and making them, and putting bagpipes. But if you notice in AC/DC, the bagpipes only play like a few different notes because it's really hard to tune pipes with guitar. They're using specially designed chanters to do that. So,
Should we let her play a little bit?
Yeah,
you
sure.
want to hear a tune?
Let's do it.
All right, so I'll play Minster Boy since we talked about it. And I'm going to have to tune up real quick because I took out my chair.
That's all right.
Wait, we're gonna go to a commercial break on the radio side, but you can play, we're live on Facebook.
Okay.
Let's face it.
You're nice.
That was Minster Boy, thank you. So that's a march, and that's what you'll hear at all the parades. But Minster Boy is a good example of a tune that was popular that they then made into a pipe tune.
Okay.
Nice.
Should we wait till we're back on the radio or
Yeah, we can wait till we're back on radio.
for her next tune?
For my next thing. So they're a lot of fun to play, and once you play them, bands teach, so if you want to, my Monday night band is Celtic United, my Thursday night band is Mackay, at South Bethlehem, and both bands have teachers that will teach you as well. We're looking for drummers too.
Where do you play?
So where do I play every day, or where do I play for?
With the band.
So Celtic United did a parade yesterday Hackettstown, New Jersey, and then the day before, Buckeye, which is my home band, they play the Scranton Parade, which is the second largest Irish parade on the East Coast. Which is crazy. I would never have expected it to be Scranton.
Right.
I would have thought like Philly or New York or whatever, but the number one is like Georgia. It's not even New York. Which is,
Interesting.
yeah. Southern, but they do them early. Then Allentown Parade is this coming weekend. Both bands are playing in that. Mackay's playing in the coronation. They have a king and a queen of the Allentown Parade. So that coronation is on Friday night. And then Saturday, we're playing at Molly's Pub in South Bethel. Sunday, we're playing at Mass in the morning, a few of us papers, and then the parade.
Can we find your schedule on like Facebook?
Absolutely. So Mackay Pit Band is on Facebook. Celtic United is CelticUnited.org. Their schedules are both posted. And then the people who are really interested in our Irish heritage should reach out to the Ancient Order of Hibernians who are on Facebook. We have a male group and a female group. And then I'm vice president of the Scottish Society of Lehigh Valley, so if you're Scottish, on Facebook, they're both on Facebook, and they meet once a month at Braveheart in Hellertown. And then also the Celtic Classic, which is the Celtic Festival down in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
They're looking for volunteers, and I'm on the board of that. So I'm very involved in the Celtic community.
Good, that's awesome.
And Celtic Fest does more than just that festival. They do things throughout the entire year. So they just had a Polanski egg thing where they did Celtic eggs, and it was amazing. It was booked like solid, and people loved it. So I was busy piping.
Nice.
So.
All right, 30 seconds, we'll be back on the radio.
Perfect.
Can you pull your mic a little closer? Yeah, see if it changes anything.
Any good questions? I love answering
No other
questions.
questions right now.
Any requests for songs?
Does anybody have any requests? Any requests?
Amazing Grace, she's gonna get that before we leave.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to hear that, that's.
5 seconds, and we'll be back. All right, welcome back to Colossal Community Podcast, and Leanne and I and everybody else is learning about bagpiping. What do you think, Leanne?
I'm hooked right now.
Yeah.
I might have found like a new thing to go for.
Those of you that are listening on the radio, Beth did play while we were on commercial break, and if you want to play another song
Sure.
for people on the radio.
Sure, I played Miniature Boy for those who are listening on Facebook, and now I'm gonna play a tune called Crags of Tumble Down Mountain. So when we were young, you would hear these bands would come over from England, and piping is very much part of the military community in England. So we would all get the albums, the vinyl albums of all these tunes that they would play. And my brother, who's an amazing piper, doesn't read music. So he would listen over and over to learn the tunes. And then he would play them that way, and then I would learn, and then I would get the music and learn the music. So this is one of those tunes. So this is Crags of Tumble Down Mountain. Imagine 12 of us in a bar with drums, with tenor drums.
No wonder everyone gets drunk.
That's why, yes. And a lot of people buy a shot. So proper etiquette, if you see us at a bar, buy a shot. Do not pour your shots in our drums. It's not funny. And it can really screw them up. But we will play for food and drink.
Oh, wow.
So like in the old traditional way. Like yesterday we were at, in Hackettstown, this daycare had this big party with the families of the kids. And they had this spread to beat the band with like a liquor cabinet. I was like, I don't know. When my kids went to daycare, they didn't have any of this. And they were so great. So we played for the kids and we played for the families. And, you know, just such great hospitality. You make a lot of friends. I have friends in like a lot of different pipe bands.
Wow, very interesting.
Cool stuff.
All right, we have a couple minutes left. Is there anything you want to touch base on? I know you talked about Irish dancing and Highland dancing.
There's Highland dancing and Irish dancing, so they're different. The way to tell them apart is that Highland dancers put their hands up, Irish step dancers do not. So Irish step dancers usually have their hands either on their waist or down by their sides, and they wear taps on the bottom of their shoes. And Highland dancers do the fling, they do the sword dance, and their hands are up. And Irish dance does do modern Irish dance too. So if you go to an Irish school, you'll learn traditional dance and then modern songs. And Highland dancing is almost always traditional. There's two different kinds of bagpipe music also. There's what I play, what you've heard, which is called low music, and then P-rock, which is our classical form. And like my brother hates P-rock, and I love it when you compete with what they call P-rock and an MSR match. A march, a strath, stay, and a reel, which are the dance tunes. So, you know, but it's if you invite pipers over for a party for St. Patrick's Day, you need to book them 6 months in advance. Because I'm getting calls like every day now, I need a piper for Friday. We're all booked. And we've all been booked since August. Wow. So, yeah, and you know, sometimes somebody will cancel and you get somebody in, but for the most part, you know, pipers are booked. This is when we make the most money that we make.
And if somebody wants to join your band, how can they reach out to you?
So, you can reach me on Facebook. My name is all one word, Beth or Good. And there's the Monday night band that meets in Windgap, and there's a Thursday night band that's the Monday night band is Celtic United, and the Thursday night band is the Mackay Pipe Band, and they meet in South Bethlehem at St. Bernard's, home of the Good Samaritans.
All right.
So good stuff.
You gotta go to the next practice, right?
I might crash it, yeah.
You can go with me too, if you wanna go down and just check it out, if you just wanna hear it. We desperately need drummers. And there's also a pipe band in Kutztown. I want to give them a nice shout out. So you live out that way in Kempton, and that's easier. Every pipe band needs drummers. And then we're always a million drummers in high school. Where do they all go?
Yeah, we're the boys that like to bang on drums.
Yeah, we need drummers. So, yeah, everybody's welcome. Do you want another song, or is it too hard for the radio?
No, it was fine.
It was fine. You want one more?
Should we, actually we're out of time, so.
We're out of time.
It's already 8 o'clock.
It was lovely to be with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for
Yes,
coming. We
thank you.
learned a lot. Very interesting. I didn't know there was that much detail into the bagpipes. And
Well, definitely come on Sunday to the Alton St. Patrick's Day Parade, and then my band Mackay is playing at the Liberty Pub right after. So come and drink and hang out with us. It's a fun time.
all right, don't forget March 17th at Hoffer Mill at the Gorge Eatery. Doc is going to have a St. Patrick's Day party. Reservations are highly recommended. You can go in the Gorge Eatery to do that. And May 20th, Doc is taking a show on the road to the Iron Pig Stadium for a Jeep event. And we are going on the road April 15th. We'll be at the Carbon Chamber Hippie 5K in Lehighton D&L Trailhead. We'll be doing a live show there. And our next episode here will be March 27th, and we're celebrating National Something on a Stick Day.
Yeah, something on a stick day. I can't wait to eat something on a stick.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you again for coming on, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.
We hope you enjoyed tonight's Colossal Community Podcast with your hosts, Keith Hines